What is going on, guys? Panther here, one of your commissioners of the American Pokemon Association. And here today we are bringing you the Clash of Kings player auction breakdown. So, as the commissioner of the APA, I of course know most of, not all of the APA players across the 9 leagues. I just recently did DPL with a lot of these guys too, which are from the more competitive scene, some of the top leagues around like the Hive and LD. And yeah, we're just going to break this down as kind of a guy that's a little bit familiar with some of these guys and a lot of the APA guys, of course. So thought people may be interested in my take on things since I've either played a lot of these guys or seen some of these guys play. So we're going to break down the 12 teams. Would like to first give a special shout out to Casper for making this amazing looking thumbnail that we have, of course. So appreciate the help with that. So yeah, we have 12 teams. This is pretty much a DPL ripoff here. With, of course, big credit going out to L5. But yeah, with some changes. So first change, we had smaller budgets than the DPL. We had a smaller required player pool as well. So you can draft up to 8 players to play on your team. The captain pairs are as you see up top. The captains both can play weekly, so that's a little different than what we have previously had. So you can automatically get an upper leg for a lot of these teams by just having a strong captain core. Some of these guys are pretty strong battlers, and I'll go over them because a lot of them are APA guys. A lot of them are guys I trust, and knew that wouldn't drop on me, so I selected a lot of them for those reasons because I know I could count on them to schedule, get their lineups in on time to me, and of course keep their teams engaged with this here in the first season at least. Hopefully we'll be able to expand next season. Not necessarily expand team-wise, but expand captain-wise and look for some outside sources that I know of. But anyways, yeah, so both captains can play. Smaller budget, 100K, and you had to bid minimum 6 players because you're playing 7 games weekly. And yeah, I think that's the only changes. Oh, duh, of course. So we have actually a bit of a format change. DPL does 4 Sun and Moon games a week and 3 Oris games. Whereas here we're doing 3 Sun and Moon games, 2 low tier games, and then 2 Little Cup games. We've had several APA seasons that are low tier and Little Cup. I'm trying to combine them there. But yeah, so it's just kind of a funner take on things. These team events are really fun, especially if you end up on a really engaging team. So I felt like this was a way to kind of to bridge our larger community and the larger competitive draft league community overall. Bring us all together and hopefully meet some new faces, battle some new people in it, and yeah, hopefully just a really fun event. Not quite as stressful as the DPL is because God, we put in so much work for the DPL week after week. By the way, Crit City in finals. Go Crit City. Hopefully you guys are supporting us in our DPL run. But yeah, I've wasted enough of your time here. Let's get to what you guys came for. My power rankings. I'm going to rate these teams from 1 to 12. I'm going to break them down. I'm going to talk about the players I know. I'm going to tell you if I don't really know the player. And I'll tell you if I don't know the player, I'm going to assume that you're not very good. Because if I don't know you from the APA, and I'm not saying we have all great players because we have a lot of not so great players in our league that I'm not going to name, but if I don't know you, that means you weren't drafted in DPL, which means you're probably not in that upper, echelon of draft league players. Now there's some guys that have just came out for the low tier and Little Cup that are gonna prove me wrong, and that's a-okay. I'm just giving you my thoughts on it. This is by no means a representation of how well you really battle. So anyways, in the 12th slot we have my boy John and Banded Caterpie and the Bug Bite Bros. So let's talk about the Bug Bite Bros here for a little bit. Corey is an APA champion. He has not won the league, I will say, in maybe about a year and a half, 2 years or so. So yeah, he was a pretty strong player back then. He took a bit of a break, and now he's back. He performed very well in his first league back, the APA Classic Season 14. So he is a solid player. He knows what he's doing. He plays on the ladder a lot, which really has no transition to draft league other than really just understanding the game, of course. But he is a previous APA champion, and he is a capable battler. John, I don't anticipate to play very much. I think he's said that he's not really playing. He's just helping his team organize and build and things like that. So I don't expect to see John Scotty Dr. Pepper play hardly at all, and I think that's one of the reasons why they actually drafted up to their 8 players here as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at their actual players. So they have Jock first of all. Now Jock's my boy. He is one of the stronger players that I used to know, but he has been out of the draft league scene for a while as well. Now I keep hearing we're going to get the old Jock, but we're just going to see if we get the old Jock here in this one. The last Jock I knew, he he quick prepped for his game, so we'll have to see how Jock does. Jock has the capability of proving me completely wrong in this. He's beat me plenty of times, and I've seen him in leagues like TOL and Red and perform well in there, and so I know he is a very capable battler. A lot of you older guys probably remember Jock as well, but we're gonna see what Jock would get. Dylan's another capable player from the APA. I have not seen him play much outside of the APA, so I'll say that, and I'll go ahead and handicap that as well. Let me go ahead and give that disclaimer for the rest of the battle, for the rest of the breakdown here. If you haven't played a lot outside of APA, I'm not going to grade you as high either, because I know how you are against APA competition. I know how that is, but I've seen the stronger draft league community that's out there, so I've got to curve that as well. So let me go ahead and say that. So Dylan is a talented player. He has played in Classic for a long time, and he's performed well there. And him for 7K is a good pickup. I think he's going to be a strong pickup, especially if he's active as well in his draft channel and able to help his team build. So I think that's a good pickup. Specky for 11 is good as well. I know he played with Spextar. I don't remember the records in DPL for Toxic Specs, but he was a captain. And I think Spextar played the most, but I think Specky still picked up some wins. So Specky for 11K is good. I wish my team would have got the opportunity to take him. As a matter of fact, I know he's an active chat presence as well, so I know he's going to be active. And that's a big plus in this, because if they're going to grind out and put in the work and do the mocks, then I think he's going to be a player that helps with that. T-Row Price is someone I don't know at all, so can't really comment too much on him. Sablo I know is good from Lapis. Lapis told me a lot about Sablo. I think he actually took over a team in APA Evolution and did well there. But Sablo played for Rising Phoenix in the DPL, and he's a very strong player. So Sablo for 16s, I think that's a steal. Definitely, for seeing how much for some of these other players went for. Ukulbina 17K, I think that's a bit of an overpay there, but I think Little Cup players are kind of at a premium here in this one, and my man Owen is a very strong Little Cup player. He's a very strong player overall. He has the knowledge to play low tiers or the knowledge to play Sun and Moon, but I think he's primarily going to be slotted into Little Cup, and he's going to be very capable in picking up wins. He went 10-0 in Little Cup Wi-Fi last season with a round 1 playoff exit, but he's someone that's going to pick up Little Cup dubs, and someone I expect to be at the top of the Little Cup MVP race at the end of the season. And we got Shuckle King next. Shuckle, I know, is a talented player. He got drafted in DPO. I just forget for whom. And I forget how he performed there, but I know he's a good battler because I've seen him play. I've watched some of his APA Ascension games, so I know he's very good. 18K is I don't think is an overpay at all for him. And then we've got Professor Chewy down there, and he is one of the nicer guys in Pokemon that I know. We'll see how Chewy does with some team build support from the likes of Shuckle and Sablo, and potentially Jock and Specky here in this one. We'll see. We'll see how he does. I don't know if Chewy's going to play Sun and Moon or Little Cup or low tier or what exactly, but we shall definitely see. One of the big drawbacks to the Bug Bite Bros is they got a lot of players. It looks like they got a lot of friends, and I know they want to have some fun with this tour. But they left a lot of money on the board. Of course, they can spend that money wisely later. But yeah, I think they could have used some of that to pick up some of the stronger top tier players. It'd be interesting to see the likes of like Dylan and the likes of like Chewy and stuff with, so let's say, someone like just right next to him like L5. like build support or something like that. I think that would have been really interesting to see. But the Bug Bite Bros can definitely prove me wrong. They've got one of the better team names in this tour. We'll say that, but we will see how they fare week 1 against the Goondocks, I believe. So moving on to my rankings, now we're going to go to number 11. And sorry for not making like any slides or anything for this, but I'm just gonna talk, and I'm sure nobody's gonna sit through watching all 11 of these, but you're gonna have to kind of jump around to see where your team ranks at. But number 11, we have the Flaming Scorpions. We've got Harry along with Jaden as the captain core. Harry is a Little Cup player, and he is quite a capable one. He made both the finals in both Little Cup leagues this season, in Little Cup Showdown and Little Cup Wi-Fi. He won Little Cup Showdown and lost in Wi-Fi, so he is a Little Cup champion. So he is capable. And he is a very strong Little Cup player as well. Sorry, someone just messaged me on Discord, made me lose my train of thought. So yeah, Harry can definitely play Little Cup. I don't know anything about Jaden, of course, but this is another team that left a lot of money on the board, and they picked up some value picks, but I think they missed out bidding on some of the top talent here in this draft. So they have Kelly for 11K. A lot of you guys know Kelly. Kelly is a very strong player. Getting him from 11K is good pay. I think a lot of teams were kind of hesitant to draft on Kelly because he's primarily a Wi-Fi league player, and we're yet to see how that translates successfully over to a format like this. Weevil, we got Arctic Weevil next. I don't know too much about Arctic. I know he played in Indigo a couple seasons back, but I can't really remember too much about him, to be completely honest. So I don't know if 6K is an overpay or anything like that. Valerispion, don't know anything about. Pays 15K for him. So I don't know if it's somebody that performed well in mocks or something like that, or I'm just oblivious or what. I don't believe this guy was drafted though in DPL. JCM Shadow, I'm almost positive was drafted in DPL. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know too much about him, to be honest. But 13K, if he is a DPL player, does not seem like an overpay at all. And someone else is driving that price up, so I can only imagine. We've got 11.5K Pesky. Pesky's a very capable player. He's a Crit City boy, so would have loved to have been able to team up with Pesky again here in this one. Pesky's a strong player. I know he can play Little Cup as well because he's played in the Little Cup League before. I believe he did the tournament. I could be wrong about that. No, he definitely did the tournament, and he did well in the tournament, now that I'm thinking about it. So I know that Pesky can play. I don't know if he's going to play Little Cup or if that's going to be primarily Harry and potentially Jaden, but we'll see. Pesky can play any tier, though, and he's going to perform well in it. High Jump Sean, I've heard the name. I don't know how he battles, though, so I'm not going to comment too much on that one. Brett has played with us, but it's been a while since he's played in the APA, so I can't really comment on Brett's skill or anything like that. Like I said, it's probably been 4 or 5 seasons since Brett played. Maybe sooner, maybe like 3, maybe 3 or 4. Is a more accurate representation there. I believe even then he took over a team, so I don't really rate a player when they come in and take over a team anyways. And then iPro I know is a solid player. I used to be in TOL with iPro, and I know iPro can pipe up from the DPL. Remains to be seen how active he's going to be. 12.5K though is definitely a steal for him if he's going to show up and play. But yep, that's Flaming Scorpions, and we have them in the 11th slot. Alright guys, so that is the bottom 2 teams that we have. In the number 10 place, we have Talonflame over Ho-Oh, led by Shy Guy and Rai. So Shy Guy is an APA admin in the Indigo League, and he performed quite well in Indigo, but that's not saying a whole lot for the quality of competition there, to be completely honest. He's played in Classic for a little while, having basically a 500 record. So I know he has knowledge of the game, but it's yet to be seen how Shy will fare in a format like this. Rai is a player that I know can play. He was picked up in DPL and has performed quite well there. So Rai is definitely one of the stronger captains that the other 12 teams have. They started their bidding by picking up a very good player in K-Crick. 437K, which ties the most amount for the entire draft, and he is well worth that amount of money. K-Crick's very good. He just actually played Gypsy and DPL in the playoffs, and He did he won that game actually, and the TTM tournament here recently. So K Crick's a very good player. GCS is another good player. Maybe a little high for this type of tournament here, especially I can't remember why he dropped in the DPL this past season, but I believe he had to go inactive there for a bit. So, but GCS can definitely play. He's pretty talented. He's up there with some of these other guys for the APA boys. So we know that he can perform well here. But 12K going for some other guys that have proven their worth in DPL. Maybe a bit of a stretch, but I think you're going to pay more of a premium for some of the higher talent APA guys than you normally would. Spies, I don't know him at all. Ray is someone I know from DPL that has performed well there. I believe he's had a pretty solid record overall, and he performed pretty well in the Crit City server when we were scouting out players that we wanted to draft. So I watched a few of his replays, and he definitely knows what he is doing. Phil, I cannot remember if he was drafted in DPL or not, but I know he's Hive. Is he Hive? Man, if he's not Hive, I'm gonna get memed on him so hard in this video, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know too much about him as a player. I'm probably thinking someone else. This dude, he's either Hive or he's that dude that has the fuck the Hive little avatar. So he's one of those two. So apologies to the good people at the Hive for either mistaking this player to be yours or not. LOQP, don't really know how to say this man's name, but I know he can play as well from one of the matchups we had. I forget whose team he's on in the DPL. I actually forget completely, but I know he played Gypsy and beat him. So I know he's capable of beating top tier talent. Granky, don't know him at all, and TVP Robinizer, don't know him at all either. So this team has some decent talent with K Crick, GCS, Ray, and LOQP. Rye can definitely play as well. I think Shy Guy is a solid player for one of the APA players, but I can't speak for the rest of these guys. So we'll see how this team does. They definitely have a good start with pretty much a one guaranteed win a week with K Crick. So that's definitely a good place to start because that's only three others that you got to win. Enough for the 10th team. We're going to move on to the 9th place team here, and we got to rate a lot of my good friends here at the Goondocks in 9th. So Goondocks led by my Crit City co-captain Jacob as always, who definitely is a great player, can definitely play, as well as Phantom Base. Phantom Base is someone I haven't actually seen play for a little while. He used to be an APA, but he's been gone for about 3 seasons or so. I don't know if he's playing in any leagues right now, actually. But this may be his step back in. I don't know how much he's even going to play here this season, but I know Jacob and Tyler are pretty close. The old Tyler, he's very, very knowledgeable about the format. I don't know how much of that is stuck through his hiatus. He may not have been on a hiatus. He may have just been on a hiatus from APA. But he's capable as well. We have Moran Varan. I know Moran can play 24K, not a stretch. He went for around that in DPL as well, and he's performed pretty decently there. He's going to be one of the leaders on this team. Don't know Psychedelic Scizor at all, but he got some up bids, so he's got to be at least fairly talented. Randy is a solid player as well. Of course, he just won the GBA League. We'll see how that translates over here to Showdown. Again, though, like I was saying about some others, he may himself play in some Showdown leagues. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I know he's a good Wi-Fi player. They have Orozco87 for 7.5K. Orozco has he came in clutch in the DPL there in week 7, helping us clinch and get to playoffs with a solid win. And he's a great chat presence as well. He is a type of player that's going to help you grind out the mocks and things like that. Help you in prep. He's going to be there for the overall team, and I think he's a good pickup for 7.5. That's not a whole lot of budget here in this. Clutch is another good player. I know he didn't perform so hot in the DPL, but I've seen him perform well in other leagues, and I think more so with this more laid back format here. We'll definitely see what he can do. I'm going to skip over these two and jump down to Baby Eric. I don't know Baby Eric, so I'll go ahead and give the disclaimer on that one. But for 4K and 5K here, we have my boys Diet Tight and John Jr., some of the APA admins, and these guys can definitely play as well. Di is a PCL champion He mainly plays Wi-Fi, but he's played Showdown as well. I think he was top 32 or something like that in the TTM Tour this past time. So he is a very capable player, and I think he's somebody that's going to surprise a lot of people, especially the one here for 4K. I think he's going to be one of the steals. And then John Jr., he, of course, is more of a Wi-Fi player as well, one of our APA coaches from the APA Wi-Fi League. But he's a guy that understands the game, and he knows how it works. He understands his win cons, and he knows how to win games. Has he played in some of the upper top tryhard leagues? I don't believe he has. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he performs. But he's very capable, and I believe he is. I believe he is capable of beating these guys as well if he puts his mind to it and tries with his builds. So I know he's in a lot of leagues right now. We're gonna see how much effort he puts forth into this. But I think he could be one of the steals of this one as well. So that's it for the Goons. Main drawback I'll say about the Goons is that they left a lot of money on the table. That can be a good thing for mids, of course, but again, they're missing out on. If this team had another top guy to pair along with Moran, I would throw them a whole lot up there higher. They remind me a lot of Crit City, but like I said, if they just had one more player that they could plug there, like a K-Crick, like we just talked about, like spending some of that 19.5K on someone like that, I think that would have really went a long ways to have a Jacob Moran and somebody on like K-Crick's level here in this lineup. So I think this team could have been a lot better than it is on paper, but I also think it could pipe up as well, kind of like Crit City this past season. Moving on here next, we have, let me scroll on over here. We have Yellow Color led by Tort and Seraph. So Tort is a player that's performed well in Indigo. I haven't seen much from him other than that. I believe he may be in Ascension now, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. But he's a capable coach. And then Silver Seraph will almost exclusively be playing Little Cup. He won Season 1 of Showdown against myself. So he's a good Little Cup player also. So you can definitely expect to see him slotted there. I really like the majority of this team. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was really tough grading teams 8, 7, and 6. So, don't take this as any shade if you end up in 8th versus 6th or 7th or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there as well. So we've got Eon here. This is the Gypsy King of Oras, or so I've been told. He's performed really well on DPO. He's a very good player from what I've seen. There is no Oras here though, so I don't know where he's going to play. Probably going to play Sun and Moon, but we'll see if he plays low tier or Little Cup any. Blitz is next. Blitz is a very good player. Somebody I've been watching in Ascension here this season, and I know he can perform well. He's done very well in DPL as well. He's a guy that once I was drafted, I was praying that my team would pick up actually, but it did not work out that way. Wombo is, if this is the Wombo that I'm thinking of at least, the Wombo that beat Gypsy last DPL, I know that he can play. But I know there's a couple Wombos too, because I've played some dude named I Am Wombo before, and let's not talk about that. So I don't know which Wombo this is. If it's the good Wombo, good pick. If it's the bad Wombo, not so good pick for 15.5K. JJ Gals, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. He was a DPL player, so 7.5K seems like a steal for that one. Don't remember his overall record off the top of my head. Hydra, I do not know at all. Mustang, he's a good player as well. And a good value here for 6.5K. I think he's going to do a whole lot better here in this format. Not saying that he wouldn't have done great in DPL if put in the right situation, but it just wasn't the right time there for Crit City for us. So I expect to see him pipe up here. I think is a good player for 4K as well. I think he could have went for a little bit more. He's a solid APA player. He's a guy that's always competing in the finals. So I could have seen him for going a bit more. So I think getting him for 4K was pretty good. I think he's going to be able to perform quite well in this tour. Interesting to see who all they're going to play in Little Cup though. I don't know Heat Lord Josh at all. I definitely know Seraph's going to be slotted into Little Cup probably almost weekly. Probably going to get Eon and Blitz in Sun and Moon. So who's going to play low tier? Who's going to play that last Little Cup slot for this team is going to be very interesting. But I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on Eon, Blitz, and potentially Wombo here. On to my 7th team in the rankings, and we have the APA's biggest cuties. We have Aurora, Infinity, and Lapis. So Aurora and Lapis co-captains. Lapis is one of the better players I know. He's in she's in quite a few leagues. This is actually the all-girl APA team here, as a matter of fact, with Aurora as well. It's a little interesting tidbit. But yeah, Lapis won APA Evolution this past season. Have a lot of respect for her as a battler. I've played her, I know once. I may have played her twice. I have played her twice. I've lost both times to Lapis. So I definitely know that she knows what she's doing as a player. She's very good in team build. She's performed very well in DPL this past season also. So I think this is definitely one of, if not the best individual captain that we have. Aurora understands the game also. She's going to be someone that's very active in chat presence. So we'll see how she does with someone like Lapis and King L5 build support. Of course, L5 going for 37k. That's no surprise. L5 is definitely one of the top players in Draft League. So there's no mistake there. L5 is going to be very good in this type of format. I think he's going to steamroll people. I think he definitely has the capability of going 7-0 here in this. Illusion, I don't know too much of. I know he went to Trick of Eye. He may have captained Trick of Eye this past season. I can't remember. I know it was IA and him though on Trick of Eye. So I think he was a captain though. So I've heard that he is a pretty good player. So I can't really speak too much about him though, because I think IA played a lot of those games there last season. Elliot is from High Jump Keks. I think the only game I watched him play was his win over us in DPL. So I know he's a player that knows what he's doing as well. He's one of the guys that I messaged my captains actually to try to pick up when I saw him getting bid on, but we ended up getting outbid on him, of course. Big Daddy Dave is a good player as well. I know he was drafted in DPL. I just can't remember for who. And he actually made it to APA Evolution finals last season where he lost to Lapis. So Dave knows what he's doing as a player. Going for 10k, I think that's a good steal as well. And then these next 4 I've actually never seen battle before. KMJ next, I got some replays from because he was somebody I was interested in drafting for DPL. But I've never even heard the name Kizu, Chibi-chan, or I have heard of Mars, but just from Aurora. But yeah, I think this team could definitely be very, very good, especially when those unknown 4K picks really. And when I say unknown, I mean that respectfully. I'm saying unknown to me, not unknown in the community. So these guys could be great. But yeah. But I really like the team with a Lapis, King L5, Illusion, and Elliot, and Big Daddy Dave core. That's 5 really solid players that are going to be slotting weekly. And I really struggled placing this team. I'm going to be completely honest. Because I think it has a lot of potential. Like I said, Lapis is one of the players I have the most respect for in this community. L5 is definitely a great player as well. But I don't know. There was just too much unknown about this team for me to adequately grade it, but I have a feeling that Lapis knows a lot of these 4K picks, and I definitely know that she will. She's not going to make any mistakes in who she picks up. So number 6, we now are going to move along to God's Blessing to the APA. So we have my boys Aaron 2420 and Ultra Player, 2 guys with a lot of draft league experience. Aaron was picked up in DPL, I believe so was Ultra Player, and both of them performed solidly there. I think Ultra is the only one that played DPL Season 1. I don't remember how he fared there, but Aaron is a guy I've battled one time, I believe. I played him one time, in BBL last season. But I've watched a lot of his vids. Won APA Academy this past time. I know he's a pretty big Wi-Fi player. Plays Wi-Fi a whole lot more, so I think he's definitely a solid captain. I think he's definitely talented compared to some of these captain cores. I really like this captain core actually because if you're able to slot Aaron and Ultra, I think that's two two players with a lot of experience that understand the game and can definitely pipe up. Ultra is a guy that I don't remember the number of times I've played him. I played him several times though, but it's always a great game when me and Ultra play. He's one of the guys that I always know I'm in for a good game when I'm playing against Ultra. So he's a very capable player as well. IA for 36.5K. He was a captain in DPL last season, and I definitely know he's a player that can play because I've heard a lot of him. And I think, I can't remember if I played him or not. I may have played him in like the Gym Leader Tour, if that even counts, but yeah, it is what it is there. Mio is a player they picked up to primarily play Little Cup, and Mio is quite good at Little Cup as well, so 15K there for a 15K Mio is not bad at all, especially somebody that can really spread some knowledge to his team about Little Cup. I think he's definitely going to be slotted into Little Cup weekly. Erob22 is a guy I've only played one time, and I don't really remember too much about that battle, but I know I've played him. So I know he's in Ascension. I know he made playoffs in Ascension as well. So I think a 4K Erob is not a bad price to pay at all, because I think he's a capable player. Money Guy, that's a guy I was telling my team to try to put some bids in on. He's a guy that actually can play Little Cup also, because he actually won the very first ever APA Little Cup tour back before we were very well known at all. And of course, Money won TTM tour. I don't remember if I played Money outside of that. Actually, I played him in the finals of that Little Cup tour that he beat me in. I may not have played him outside of that, but Money is somebody that is fairly solid. 21K I definitely think is a good deal for him, because he's a guy that's definitely going to pick up wins in this. Bronson for 7.5K. I don't know much of Bronson or Ice Demon Gray, to be completely honest, but I know both were drafted in the DPL. I cannot remember how either did. I think God's Blessing to APA overall, though, is very solid. I think a lot of these guys are very experienced and understand the game. I think this is one of the teams that definitely could be one of the top teams, actually. It was really hard separating these top 6 teams, because I think a lot of them are so close. I think the one drawback to this team is going to be the limited amount of slots they have. So if they're in a position where they have to sub out, or player can't play or something like that, I think that's going to put them in some bad and rush positions, some players playing with some teams that they may not be comfortable with. But I think this is a chat that's going to be very active. I think a lot of these guys are pretty well known in the draft league community, so I think they're going to mesh very well together. So yeah, that's what I got to say about the God's Blessing to the APA. Moving on to number 5. Here in the ranking, we have my team, Didgeridoos and Kangaroos, coached by Blinn and Kurt the Buzzwole. Blinn is a Little Cup player. He is Little Cup Wi-Fi Season 2 champion. Season 2? Season 1. Season 1 champion. So he is a good Little Cup player. That's most likely where he is going to be most comfortable at. He is by far a better Little Cup player than I would say other tiers, and that's no shade at Blinn, because Blinn is a very good Little Cup player, and I think he's going to prove that here in this tour also. Kurt is someone I don't think's played in a little while either, so I don't know how much Kurt's going to play in this, because I don't think he's playing in any APA leagues right now. I don't know if he's playing in any leagues right now, to be completely honest with you, but he's a guy that's been around a while and understands the game, of course. Also, of course, we have myself next. I think I was a bit of an overpay at 26K, to be completely honest. I'm primarily just going to play Little Cup, and I think I'm more, of on like a Oogle or a Mio level, going for like 15 to 17K. I think that's pretty fair in those situations. I think I have the potential to play well in other tiers, but I'm pretty much sticking to Little Cup here, because I definitely don't want to put as much time in this as I have done for DPL. I think my price was definitely driven up by just being the APA commissioner. To be completely honest, I think a fair price, and I was telling a lot of these guys don't pay more than around 20K for me. But definitely appreciate the love that Blinn and Kurt showed me here. Next we have Dark. I know Dark is a Crusader. I don't want to say was a Crusader, because the Crusaders are still in the playoffs here at this point. So 15K for Dark. We'll definitely take that. I know he is in LD. and I think he is doing well in LD right now. I can't remember. He's in something he's doing well in, because I've heard his name. Consequences is youngster Bill, and I think this is one of the best players on our team. If I'm being completely honest, I've seen Bill play in our Little Cup tours. I know he can play Little Cup. I know he can play low tier. I know he can play the Sun and Moon tier. So I'm excited to be partnered with Bill up in this one. I think he's one of our better players. Along with Shiny Sableye, I think 15k for Ben, from what I've seen, is a fair price also. So excited to be paired with these top 3 guys, without a doubt. Next, we have Austrian George. I don't know anything about George as a battler, but from what I'm actually hearing is this dude can play. So excited to see what he's going to be able to do here in this tour, of course. We have my boy Scoot next at 4K. I know Scoot was taken in the DPL. I don't remember how he fared there. I think we actually played him one week. I just don't remember who he played for. But I think my team played him because I think Ricardo got a freeze. I don't know if the freeze mattered. I don't remember the game. This was weeks ago. But Scoot for 4K I think is some really good value, especially here in this. Especially with this being a little bit more laid back than DPL. Scoot performed well in the Little Cup Tour. I think he's another player that can play Little Cup. So, yeah. Furfrou for 6K. This is a guy that I know can play Little Cup also. I don't know how he is in Gen 7 or in low tier, but I know he can definitely play Little Cup from his performance in past APA tours. So I think him for 6K is very good because we're really stacked at Little Cup right now, I think. And then Weavali is somebody that Kaz has spoken really highly of, and I think we've gotten a steal here for 4K with that. We also have 8K left over. I like that because we're going to be able to take a look at the signups, and if anybody's not performing at mids, we can be dropped. I don't want to say they, because I could definitely be dropped as well, to get some more budget back to bid on some of these other guys. So yeah, very excited to be on a team with Bloom and Kurt. They are very active chat presences, and I think they definitely have the capability to pipe up here in this tour. And definitely excited to be with my team here. I think we're really solid overall, other than a bit of an overpay for me. I think that's this team's only flaw, really. If they could have got me on the cheap, they weren't going to get me on the cheap, but if they could have got me on the cheap for, say, 20k or so, that's another 14k we could have had in the pocket to get somebody. We had 18k left over to get somebody. I'm just looking at the sheet real quick. Let's see, somebody potentially like Greg was in that price range, or Elliot or someone like that, potentially to slot into one of these slots also. But overall, I think my team's very good, and I'm really excited to play with these guys. So here in the 4th slot, we have the 5'11" actually, so just short of being 6' hacks. Of course, they are led by Leo. Leo's a phenomenal player. He played in DPL Season 1 and did well there. I do not know Harris at all, so I cannot speak for him. LeJohn Flames is somebody that is on... Is he on Evolution? I can't remember who he's on, but I know he's won Hive before. So I know he's a player that can play. I'm a little surprised to see him go for 9K. Because I've just heard his name a lot, so I just associate that with him being good. I don't know if I've ever actually seen his replays or anything like that, so he may have lost it. I don't know, but he was drafted in DPL, and like I said, I know he's won Hive before, probably maybe like Hive B Drill or something like that. I don't know, could be wrong completely about this. I could be butchering this, but yeah, I definitely heard his name. Jake for 30.5k. I know that Jake, we may have just played him. Did he play for Zero Fox Given? I don't want to pull it up. I'm just going to jack up the recording. I don't remember who these guys played for in DPL, and it's bothering me right now. I'm just going to pull it up. Let me pause on them too. I'm going to go ahead and jump down here to Legits real quick. So that's a guy that I know can play. I know he was drafted in DPL. And from what I've heard, he's a bit of a quieter chat presence, but he definitely understands the game and can definitely get wins for your team. I do not know Metal Freeder at all. He played for Zero Fox Given. I'm almost positive plays for Zero Fox Given. Yes, he did. He played AVP this past week. So well, let's just see how he did. I'm just going to go to Zero Fox Given real quick. Let's just see how he did. So 3-1 overall. DPL is definitely saying something. So 15K, I definitely find respectable for that. Mayo is definitely on Zero Fox Given as well, because he beat someone on my team this past week, and that someone is, he beat Kaz. So it was a really good game against Kaz. And yeah, so I think 23K for him is pretty fair as well, especially since he went 3-1 overall in the DPL also. And then LeJon, let me find LeJon. So he didn't play for Zero Fox Given, so that means he had to play. He had to play for either Evo. He got to play for Evo. No, I am wrong. This dude played for someone. Was he a Crusader? Nope, not a Crusader either. Gosh, maybe he wasn't drafted. TJ, I'm gonna skip down to TJ. TJ, also know was drafted in DPL. So all of these guys are DPL players. And so they're very experienced in draft league format. I think this is another team that can definitely be one of the top teams here in this. I struggled placing them. I think these top four are just so close. It's really hard to place. Okay, LeJon, okay, he played for Trick of Eye. All right, so he went 0-4 in DPL. So but like I said, I know he's won a Hive league before. So in this more laid back format here, I think he can pipe up. And then Jake for 30.5K. Let me find the team that he is on real quick. Trying to remember where he is at exactly. Jake, there we go. He is okay. He captains Jerry Evolution, and 3-2 record here this season. So capable player for sure as well. So overall, I like this team a lot. It's got a lot of experience on it, and a really good captain there in Leo. And Leo wouldn't have brought in somebody that doesn't know what he's doing as far as a co-cap goes. I think the one major drawback about this team is who's going to play Little Cup for him. So there is a bit of a transition from regular format to Little Cup. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely think this team can definitely do some damage. So in the third slot, we have the Meatball Substitutes, captained by Renegade and TDG. So a couple of solid guys. I know Renegade was not drafted in DPL, but I watched a few of his replays. I know he's capable of beating a lot of guys that were drafted in DPL. I don't think TDG was either. He's one of the guys we looked at picking up with our mid-season breaks, but we ended up going a different direction instead. John W is one of the top players in draft league format. Enough said really about that one. 35K, definitely a steal. Who knows how much he will play in this though. Then they got Vest, 14K. I don't know a great deal about Vest. I know he was Toxic Specs. Yeah, he was Toxic Specs, 3-3 overall in the DPL. So not too bad. I've only watched one game of his, and that was the game that he played Crit City in, next to Sky for 15.5K. And heck, I don't know if Sky was drafted or not in DPO. He probably was, because I know he talks in the DPO chat quite a bit. But from what I've heard about some of these guys, this is probably the shit talk team of this league. So they're basically the Crit City of this league. Minus the unknowns like the Orozcos and Ricardos. That's the type of level of shit talk I think we're looking at here with these guys. So they've got the talk to back it up though. Moxie Infernape, I know that's an LD guy, and someone that has done well in DPL. And Versify is a Little Cup player from what I hear. So I don't think I've played him before. Going to be interesting to play him. Jeremy, I think, was drafted as well. I think he is on Jerry Evolution and has done well for them. Let's see. Nope, I'm thinking Jarrett. Where's Jerry? I know Jerry was drafted. Let's see. Jeremy, not Jerry. What the fuck am I smoking? Let's see. Who does he play for? Who does he play for? Wish this sheet had a feature just to search for where they're at. Alright, so I can't find him, but I'm almost positive that he... Yep, there he is, there he is, there he is. He played for High Jump Kicks. Doesn't look like he actually played much for the High Jump Kicks, but getting him for a 6K steal in a little bit more laid-back format, I think goes a long ways. And then Evan for 4K also, I have not seen him play, but you know, it looks like these guys definitely know what they're doing with their team here. So we'll see how they do here in this. Alright, so second overall, I have the Big Bad Go-Goats with Love Chance and Word Life. This is probably the strongest captain core in my opinion. I think both of these guys can definitely perform really well here in this one. Love Chance performed very well in the DPL this past season, going 4-2. He was one of the steals of the draft. And then Word, I want to say, was Zero Fox Given, and he went 2-2 overall. So these guys 6-4 combined in a stressful format like that. I think they're really going to pipe up here in a more laid-back format. 37K Hiker. Hiker is a guy that's going to guarantee you wins weekly. He can also play Little Cup as well. Then you've got Greg, who's going to almost exclusively play low tier, and it's going to be one of the top players there in that one. Halu's a guy that's performed really well in the DPL, so getting him for 18K overall is good. Troy, 9.5K Troy. I've only seen him play one time. That was actually a game versus me that he won, and he played very well in it, so I think that's a good deal for that one. Mightykiss for 4K. I think this was probably the surprise of the draft. I'm really excited to see how Mightykiss is going to do. Mightykiss is somebody that's been kind of burnt out on the game. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see how he does with such strong build support. So I'm going to leave it there at that one. I think he's going to play a lot of Little Cup, and Little Cup I think is where he's more comfortable at. Give the man Scraggy, and just watch what he can do with it. Jasper, I think somebody that's going to play Little Cup also. I'm pretty sure he's played in the Little Cup tour, and I don't know the Pichu Bros at all. I'll say this about Mightykiss though. Do not let the man play if it is between the hours of 8 a.m. EST and 5 p.m. EST. That means he's playing from his phone at work. Do not let it happen. He's bored and just looking for something to do. Make him play at home where he's going to focus. I promise you. Word, Chance, listen to me. If you're hearing this, don't let him play during business hours of the weekday. So for our top team, you can already guess who the last one is. We have North Like This, led by Saint and Vino. Another very, very strong captain core. One of the better captain cores, in my opinion. Vino's the guy that we looked at picking up in the DPL, and then Saint was, he runs OLT, of course, and played Evolution this past season. Genius X is a guy that can definitely play. We just played Zero Fox Given in DPL, and he definitely knows what he is going. Jay Carson, Thick Bunny, I know he can play also. Lapis has spoke to me very highly about him before, and I've watched a few of his replays, so he's definitely know what he's doing. J-Slink, hopefully I'm saying that right, is another person that can definitely play. He's piped up in DPL this season. Narth, I believe, is drafted in DPL. I don't know how much he's played. Can't remember off the top of my head, really. But I've played Narth before. It's been a while, but I definitely know he's a good player. BM, I don't know. Colt, I believe, has played in the Little Cup Tour, so I bet you that's probably where he's going to play at. And then I don't know Plas and Evan at all. But I really like this team's top players. I mean, they're going to be able to slot in Saint, Vino, Genius, Jay Carson, Jay Slink, and Narth. And then just kind of fill the rest of the slots. I think Colt's a capable Little Cup player. I believe he performed well in the Little Cup tourneys, and this is pretty similar to that. So I think a lot of those slots are really strong players that can definitely pull some wins. I think Genius X and Jay Carson are definitely two almost confirmed wins weekly, along with someone like Saint, and yeah, I mean that's two almost 3 wins, pretty solid wins here in this weekly. So I took that into kind of consideration there, and really just thought if the rest of these guys can kind of pipe up, then I think North Like This is going to perform very well. So top 6 that I have: North Like This, Big Bad Go-Goats, Meatball Substitutes, 5'11s, Didgeridoos and Kangaroos, and God's Blessing to the APA. That is my playoff prediction. I think the last slot's a toss-up, either God's Blessing to the APA or the APA's Biggest Cuties. I think it's going to be one of those guys for the last slot. So that's my prediction. We'll see how that fares. Hopefully you guys have gotten some information here from this video. I've talked enough though here at this point. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions about how we can make this format any better, definitely leave me a comment in the section down below for next time. This is just really meant to be a fun event that brings two different sides of the community together. So hopefully we all have a good time with this as a way to kind of send Gen 7 off and move on to Gen 8. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm out for now.